Live fast, die young, and have a good-looking corpse. Well, you know how they say that death always comes in threes? Well, it happened. Within my circle over the last several weeks, I had 3 deaths that I experienced, both extended family and friends. The first was a great childhood friend. His father passed away. The second actually came from a listening presentation that I had gone to as a referral from a dear cousin, one that I haven't seen in such a long time. But when I walked in, I recognized the parents, and their son had passed away, unfortunately, at a pretty young age. And the last one that happened most recently was my ex-brother-in-law, my sister's first husband, the father to my niece. And it was very interesting because all 3 of these deaths were just kind of like a blast from my past. All people that I've known since my childhood, my youth. And I've heard that, you're getting older when the last time you saw somebody was at a funeral. And that was the case, having gone to a couple of funerals and being able to connect with some people that I haven't seen in a very long time. Bad news tends to be good news sometimes, and it's nice to reconnect. Although you wish it was under different circumstances, but it's still nice nonetheless. And I think anytime you experience death within your circle, your family, friends, you always tend to rethink life a little bit and reassess things, no matter how old the person was. But I think the ones that are closer to your age, your own age, are the ones that really hit home a little bit harder. And I'm sure there's a whole psychological reason behind it, but I'm sure it has something to do with you tend to realize your own mortality. I actually realized my own mortality. I'm sure to some degree everybody knows that one day we're going to die. But I don't know how much actual thought people put into that until later in life, because when you're young, all you know is how to live, not necessarily how to die. But as we age and we have other responsibilities, perhaps you have children, spouse, loved ones that are going to be left behind after you go, you start thinking about things differently and start planning ahead. And if you don't have your paperwork ready, you definitely should. Don't leave people behind stuck trying to figure it out on their own. That saying that I said at the beginning of the video, live fast, die young, have a good looking corpse. Sure, that might be nice in theory, but unfortunately, there's many times where people have a little bit too much fun. I'm not saying not to have fun and not to build those memories. Maybe take a gander into the future and see people who have abused their bodies a little bit, whether it's through substances or pushing their bodies to the limits. And I think what's better off if we kind of find a balance in life. Life is all about balance. Definitely want to have fun, but don't want to put yourself in a compromising position a little bit later, because sometimes you end up living a longer life and an unhealthier life, and that's really not a way to go. Having worked in senior care, how that turns out, and you kind of become the forgotten, loaded up on medication and antidepressants to handle all the pain from every angle. But I think for myself, obviously can't predict when it's going to happen or control how it's going to happen. There is one thing that I do ask the powers that be, but I'm going to keep that private. Hopefully that request will be honored. The one thing that I do want to leave behind are stories, and good stories, happy stories. And I remember several years back, after my grandfather passed away, my mom and I had gone to a candle lighting ceremony. It's something that the church did every year to honor those that had passed within the past year. And as I'm looking around the church and seeing people go up one at a time, it was either one person or 2 or 3 people going up one at a time to light a candle. It was a very beautiful ceremony. Whether it was a religious experience or just a human experience, it was a beautiful experience. And I really started to think that, I was up there lighting a candle for my grandfather, and I have so many wonderful memories and stories about him. And it just hit me that, every candle that was being lit was for an individual that provided probably hundreds or thousands of stories for not only the people that were in the church at the time, but for so many others that weren't there, friends, family, coworkers, acquaintances, somebody that maybe they just met one time and put a smile on their face. But probably the one that it hit me the hardest was behind me. I had noticed there was a young lady with 2 small boys, and I think it was her dad or perhaps her father-in-law, now that I think about it. And it really hit me hard because the 2 boys there were about the same age as my own sons at the time. And one of the little boys had leaned over to his mom and asked him if they were going to light a candle for Daddy. And I just honestly broke down in tears because I thought it was a sad thing that at such a young age they lost their father. And a few weeks later, I was talking to the priest, and he told me how their father had passed away, and et cetera, and it was just a very heartfelt moment. It kind of puts your life in perspective. You just never know what news you're going to get or what might happen to you from one minute to the next. So this week, I'm very thankful for life. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have known the people that recently passed away, and I'm very thankful to have been able to connect with those that I haven't seen, spoken with in some time. So, a word of advice to you, or a word of caution: enjoy life, enjoy those around you, and focus on creating beautiful stories and memories for people to remember you by. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate your time. One thing that will never come back: spending a few minutes with me means the world. Till next time, have a wonderful week.